Mauna Loa is one of 5 volcanoes that form the island of Hawaii in the U.S. state of Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean. The largest subaerial volcano in both mass and volume, Mauna Loa has historically been considered the largest volcano on Earth, dwarfed only by Tamu Massif. It is an active shield volcano with relatively gentle slopes, with a volume estimated at 18,000 cubic miles. Although its peak is about 125 feet lower than that of its neighbor, Mauna Kea. Lava eruptions from Mauna Loa are silica-poor and very fluid, and tend to be non-explosive. Mauna Loa has probably been erupting for at least 700,000 years, and may have emerged above sea level about 400,000 years ago. The oldest known dated rocks are not older than 200,000 years. The volcano's magma comes from the Hawaii hotspot, which has been responsible for the creation of the Hawaiian island chain over tens of millions of years. The slow drift of the Pacific plate will eventually carry Mauna Loa away from the hotspot within 500,000 to 1 million years from now, at which point it will become extinct. Mauna Loa's most recent eruption began on November 27, 2022 and ended on December 13. It was the first eruption since 1984. No recent eruptions of the volcano have caused fatalities, but eruptions in 1926 and 1950 destroyed villages, and the city of Hilo is partly built on lava flows from the late 19th century. Because of the potential hazards it poses to population centers, Mauna Loa is part of the Decade Volcanoes program, which encourages studies of the world's most dangerous volcanoes. Mauna Loa has been monitored intensively by the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory since 1912. Observations of the atmosphere are undertaken at the Mauna Loa Observatory, and of the Sun at the Mauna Loa Solar Observatory, both located near the mountain's summit. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park covers the summit and portions of the southeastern and southwestern flanks of the volcano, and also incorporates Kilauea. Like all Hawaiian volcanoes, Mauna Loa was created as the Pacific tectonic plate moved over the Hawaii hotspot in the Earth's underlying mantle. The Hawaii Island volcanoes are the most recent evidence of this process that, over 70 million years, has created the 3,700 miles, 6,000 kilometers long Hawaiian Emperor Seamount chain. The prevailing view states that the hotspot has been largely stationary within the planet's mantle for much, if not all of the Cenozoic era. However, while the Hawaiian mantle plume is well understood and extensively studied, the nature of hotspots themselves remains fairly enigmatic. Mauna Loa is one of 5 subaerian volcanoes that make up the island of Hawaii. The oldest volcano on the island, Kohala, is more than 1 million years old, and Kilauea, the youngest, is believed to be between 210,000 and 280,000 years of age. Kamaʻawakanalo on the island's flank is even younger, but has yet to breach the surface of the Pacific Ocean. At 1 million to 600,000 years of age, Mauna Loa is the second youngest of the 5 volcanoes on the island, making it the 3rd youngest volcano in the Hawaiian Emperor Seamount chain, a chain of shield volcanoes and seamounts extending from Hawaii to the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench in Russia. Following the pattern of Hawaiian volcano formation, Mauna Loa would have started as a submarine volcano, gradually building itself up through underwater eruptions of alkaline basalt before emerging from the sea through a series of Sirtzian eruptions about 400,000 years ago. Since then, the volcano has remained active, with a history of effusive and explosive eruptions, including 34 eruptions since the first well-documented eruption in 1843. Structure: Mauna Loa is the largest subaerial and second largest overall volcano in the world, covering a land area of 5,271 square kilometers, 2,035 square miles, and spans a maximum width of 120 kilometers, 75 miles. Consisting of approximately 65,000 to 80,000 cubic kilometers, 15,600 to 19,200 cubic miles, of solid rock, it makes up more than half of the surface area of the island of Hawaii. Combining the volcano's extensive submarine flanks, 5,000 meters, 16,400 feet, to the seafloor, and 4,170 meters, 13,680 feet, subaerial height, Mauna Loa rises 9,170 meters. From base to summit, greater than the 8,848 meters or 29,029 feet elevation of Mount Everest from sea level to its summit. In addition, much of the mountain is invisible even underwater. Its mass depresses the crust beneath it by another 8 kilometers, in the shape of an inverse mountain, meaning the total height of Mauna Loa from the start of its eruptive history is about 17,170 meters, 56,000 feet.
Mauna Loa is a typical shield volcano in form, taking the shape of a long, broad dome extending down to the ocean floor whose slopes are about 12 degrees at their steepest, a consequence of its extremely fluid lava. The shield stage lavas that built the enormous main mass of the mountain are tholiitic basalts, like those of Mauna Kea, created through the mixing of primary magma and subducted oceanic crust. Mauna Loa's summit hosts 3 overlapping pit craters arranged northeast-southwest, the first and last roughly 1 kilometer (0.6).
Mauna Loa's summit is also the focal point for its 2 prominent rift zones, marked on the surface by well-preserved, relatively recent lava flows easily seen in satellite imagery, and linearly arranged fracture lines intersected by cinder and splatter cones. These rift zones are deeply set structures, driven by dike intrusions along a décollement fault that is believed to reach down all the way to the volcano's base, 12 to 14 kilometers, 7 to 9 miles deep. The first is a 60 kilometers, 37 miles rift trending southwest from the caldera to the sea and a further 40 kilometers, 25 miles underwater, with a prominent 40 degrees directional change along its length. This rift zone is historically active across most of its length. The second, northeastern rift zone extends towards Hilo and is historically active across only the first 20 kilometers, 12 miles, of its length, with a nearly straight and, in its latter sections, poorly defined trend. The northeastern rift zone takes the form of a succession of cinder cones, the most prominent of which the 60 meters, 197 feet, high Pu'u'ulaula, or Red Hill. There is also a less definite northward rift zone that extends towards the Humu'ula saddle marking the intersection of Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea.